So next on the list is The Color of Money, 1986, of course, Martin Scorsese, the remake of The Color of Money. And
no, the remake, not the remake of The Color, the sequel to The Hustler.
Sorry, the sequel to
That's
The
right,
Hustler. Thank you. Yeah. And the song, and I did see the movie. I think I've only seen the movie once around the time it came out, but I was able to see that clip on YouTube. It's pretty great. So it's Werewolves of London, Warren Zevon.
Yeah.
Yeah, talk about that. I might have a couple questions on that one.
Yeah, that's my favorite Warren Zevon song, and I'm sure that helps. When I was teaching, whenever it came time for Halloween, if I was in control of the entry music, Werewolves of London would play. If Miss Sharma was in control of the entry music, Thriller would play.
Right.
So that scene is so great. In some ways, my favorite Tom Cruise performance. Paul Newman won the Academy Award. No, sorry, he didn't. Did he win? Yes. I'm trying to remember now. Did he win for Color of Money, or did he win for
it sounds
The Verdict?
familiar, but I don't know.
Okay, he got his honorary Academy Award for either The Verdict or The Color of Money.
Okay.
One of those two. And he's fine in it, but I think Tom Cruise is the real reason you watch the film. And he plays a pool hustler. He's basically the updated version of Eddie Felson from The Hustler, except the thing is that Tom Cruise, he's from a different time. So whereas Eddie Felson, Newman gives him a real method actor performance, and he's really anguished and tortured. Cruise is just like all showboat, and he, the main thrust of the film is that Newman's trying to teach him how to throw games and do so artfully so that he can win money, right?
Right.
You can win by losing. That's the whole thing with hustling. But Cruise can't lay down when he's so good and he's so in love with himself, and he just is so he's such a performer around a pool table that he can't bring himself to do that. So in the scene with Werewolves of London, Newman's keeping a pretty close eye on him. They're on the road with Mary Elizabeth Mastriantoni, his girlfriend, and Newman's trying to keep him in check until they get to this tournament they're going to, where they plan to win a lot of money. But one night, however, it happens, I can't remember, Cruise gets out of his clutches, heads to the local pool hall, and he gets in a game against one of the guys who kind of is the big guy around the hall. He's obviously not as good a player as Tom Cruise, but he's a good player. He's a black guy, wears a big cowboy hat. And Newman walks into the pool hall right at the moment where Cruise is just putting on a show. He's not trying to hustle on him. He's just showing the room how good he is. And the Warren Zevon song is playing. And then one of the things that makes the scene so remarkable is Cruise is making one amazing shot after another, and he's almost dancing around the table. He's doing all this stuff with the pool cue. He does it like it's a sword at one point. But then at one point, he sings along with the song. So there's no indication it's playing in the pool hall room. They wouldn't have this music blaring as he's playing pool. It's not coming off a jukebox. It's on the soundtrack. It's not there. But Scorsese has him do this great thing where when he gets to the line about his hair was perfect, Cruise sings along with that, and he goes, and his hair was perfect, and he runs his hand through his hair. And it's great. It's breaking the fourth wall. I saw a werewolf drinking a pina colada and Trader Vic's. His hair was perfect. Newman, of course, is just standing off to the side, just shaking his head. And then the guy that runs the pool hall knows how disgusted Newman is, and he's sort of commiserating with him. And it's a good film. A Color of Money, you know, it's not the first thing you think about when you think about Scorsese, because it was a real commercial venture. I think it's a Disney production. And it was meant to win awards, and it was meant to make a lot of money.
Yeah.
And it did both those things, but it's actually a really good film. I like it. I've watched it probably half dozen times in my life, spaced out over many years. It's a great sequence, and really probably one of Scorsese's best uses of music, I would say.
So two of the and they're like fleeting associations for sure, because they're not that specific, but two of the music movie scenes that came to mind while I was watching the clip, one was what we mentioned a while ago, actually the Tom Cruise in Risky Business, just the same sort of bravado, right? But the other one I thought was really interesting, and this might be a little intentional, though it plays out obviously completely differently, is Please Mr. Postman in Mean Streets. Because you've got
around the pool table.
De Niro on the pool table, right? Now, it goes a lot further, obviously, because De Niro's actually bashing heads with pool cues and stuff like that. But I thought of that right away. I thought, wow, I'd love to see those two scenes side by side almost, with De Niro, you know, kicking around the pool table, and there's just the same bravado in both those scenes, right? So
somehow, I hadn't even thought of that. I'm going to go back and I'm going to add just a parenthesis at one point in that comment, because clearly, you know, there's a direct line from that one scene to the other. Please, Mr. Postman in Mean Streets, of course, that's the Mook scene, right?
Yeah, and that might be in my top 10 music movie scenes.
That's a great
of all
scene.
Time. That is probably still my favorite Mean Streets scene. I just love it. Like, it's just violence, right? It's just a fight in the pool hall ultimately while the song is playing, but like the music is so loud, and it gives that. I've never heard that song the same way ever after seeing that scene. It just sounds so great.
It's a great scene. You know, I should probably save all this for when we talk. I'll save all that for when we talk about Mean Streets, because that was another one where I went a little, I think I picked a little bit of an offbeat song.
Oh, it's a great one too, though, that you picked.
It's great. I mean, again, we'll talk about it later. The obvious choice was Be My Baby, and then you mentioned another one.
Okay.
So many.